What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Spot Show podcast. This is, of course, an independent wrestling podcast with a few pit stops along the way. Hi there. I, of course, am one of your hosts, Jim Mint 10, Dickie Wabash, and I am joined, as always, by the face only a mother could love. The one-legged wonder, Michael Madrox.
That's not true. Your mother loves me too.
She does. I think that Mama Wabash pretty much loves everyone that's associated with MadBash in any way equally. And kudos to her, because some of them are hard to love. I don't know about that. Actually, yeah, you know what? I think I kind of do know about that. I think you might be the favorite son.
I think so. Even more than you.
We are ready to get rolling here on this edition of the Spot Show podcast. Each and every week, Michael Madrox and I get together and we talk about the wacky world of independent wrestling and everything in between. If you like what we're doing here, you can, of course, go on over to patreon.com/MadBash Studios. Back us at the $5 and above tier, and you can get this show early and ad-free, but that is not the only way that you can support us. You can go to MadBashStudios.com. There you're going to find links to all of your favorite podcasting platforms, all of our social media. Go give us 5-star written reviews on the podcasting platforms. Go visit all of our social media, like, follow, subscribe, whatever you got to do. That is some of the best ways that you can support us. Help keep the microphones on and the envelopes full. We are completely independent and we are supported by the listeners like you. We are essentially a new age PBS. You know what I mean, brother? We got some plug skis. We got some plug skis and upcoming dates for you. Of course, this Saturday, MadBash Wrestling presents the Blue Album live from Danville, Illinois. I'm not going to plug it a little bit too much because we're going to actually preview it here in just a few minutes on this episode. We've got some news regarding that show, as a matter of fact, that we kind of, with heavy hearts, we have to make an announcement about that show, but everything's going to come out in the wash, brother. It is all going to be fine. And then, just letting everyone know that in a couple of weeks, the week of the 19th of June, I believe, the 12th of June, we will be taking summer break. There will be no podcast that week, but the week before there still will be. It's going to push back our Money in the Bank discussion, but we are still going to be having that the following week. Also, we got a new date for you coming up here. We've not talked about it yet. Here it is, June 21st. MadBash Wrestling is going to be in Odin, Indiana, back at it again at the Krispy Kreme for Elite Pro Wrestling Cyber Hex. That is going to be a fun one. The MadBash Championship will be on the line. We have a challenger, but who's our champion going to be? Is it going to be Colby Jack or is it going to be Jason Levi? Only one way to find out, and that is to come to the Blue Album. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And of course, this episode is brought to you by Elite Pro Wrestling and Venom Energy, but you'll hear a little bit more about them later. All right, let's get into it, Michael Madrox. Let's give our preview of the Blue Album.
Okay, I'm going to start with this. I gave the album a listen. I'd give it a 3 out of 5. I mean, there's some catchy shit, but it's all repetitive lawnmower dad music to me.
Did you actually listen to Weezer's The Blue Album?
No.
I was hoping that you would actually, like, just for the sake of like
the bit, just like run through the whole track listing and my feelings on the song.
Yeah, it's like, so when I got to In the Garage, I thought that it was fine. Yeah, man, we got a big show coming up this Saturday. We're teaming up again with New Version Wrestling. They are going to be presenting Proving Ground. We got MadBash Wrestling, the Blue Album. Before we get a little bit too far into the discussion of the Blue Album, we sadly have some bad news regarding the Blue Album. Due to some scheduling conflicts and travel issues, Zach Abstract will not be able to be in attendance for the Blue Album, so his match with Kenny Calix is being reworked. That match will happen at a later date. As for this Saturday, maybe by the time this goes live to the public, we will have a replacement. If not,
I'm sure Kenny will issue an open challenge if we don't find him a replacement.
I'm sure that he will. Maybe by this point we have a replacement. Maybe we don't. Sure, hoping that we do. Because so let's preview a match that isn't even going to happen, Michael Madrox. Let's just start there. This is a bummer, man, because this I think was going to be the dark horse match of the night.
Absolutely.
Abstract is just coming hot off the heels of that run in Japan. Where he defended the Baja World title.
Kenny's out here headbutting fools like no other, man.
Kenny Calix is young and hungry, and I'm going to give a little bit of a backstory here as to why we decided to put Kenny in this spot. Is I'm going to go back to level 4, right? And we needed one more match on the card, and Kenny Calix was there. And I asked him, I was like, brother, can you go out there and give me a good 5 to 7? And he was like, yeah, man, I'll absolutely do that. And he stepped up and he proved that he was someone that I'd like to keep around. You know what I mean? And I like to reward those that help us out. And we were like, you know what? You are going to get a shot at whoever wins the Baja title, whether it be Oliver or Abstract. And Abstract ended up winning that match, which, dare I say, is in contention for match of the year, I think, so far. I know we're only about halfway through the year, but that match was just a fucking banger.
Are we going to have year-end awards, Dickie Wabash?
It's almost as if I was trying to segue into that.
No, but Kenny stepped up to the plate. He deserves the match. Absolutely, this is bad news, but at the end of the day, it's also great news because that just means we get to work with Kenny again.
Yes. And regardless, I wanted to use him again,
yes, but now of course.
yeah. Now contractually, motherfucker, you're coming back in. You will get this match with Zach Abstract. Damn it. That's a bummer. Best wishes to Zach. I hope that we'll get to see you soon. We are kind of burying the lead here a little bit. I'm kind of spoiling. We do have a July date. We haven't made it public yet, but hopefully he can make it back in time for that. And we can maybe try to reschedule it for then. I don't know. But yeah, man, that one sucks. That one sucks. We literally got the news 20 minutes before going live. So that's cool.
We're working on it, guys. We got you.
Brother, we are recording right now at 4:30.
This feels
in
weird.
The middle of the day. And Dickie Wabash is drinking cold coffee, iced coffee, I think it's called. I have a feeling that we're going to be in for some fucking shit. You know what I mean? Is you ready for some shit? I'm ready.
For those of you that don't know, Dickie has a low intolerance for caffeine.
No, I don't. I only suffer issues from caffeine if I the later in the day that I drink the caffeine, the crazier it is. Later, I am probably going to hate myself for drinking this, and I'm not going to sleep tonight. But the only reason I am drinking this now is because I did not sleep very well last night. So it's a never-ending cycle of bad decisions.
Rinse and repeat.
Yeah. So let's keep going on here, man. We've got 3 more matches to talk about. Normally I would do a pick'em, but we can't do a pick'em right now because Zach isn't going to be able to make it. So we don't even know what the match is going to be. Next on the line, we've got, I'm going to keep saying this.
Yeah.
Another match I'm excited about. I'm excited for all of them.
Yes.
All right. I'm excited for all of them.
The bangers.
Banger after banger after banger. We have got a first time ever singles matchup. Here's a fun fact about the Blue Album. every match except for the main event is a first time ever singles match.
Yes.
Which now that we know that the Cal, whatever. This is one that I'm excited for. I just said that I was going to keep saying that. We got Kid Riot versus Oliver Kane. Believe it or not, when this match was signed, Kid Riot told me this is a dream match. I've never
really.
Yes, he said I've never even touched Oliver in any match, whether it be a battle royal, multi-man. When you've been around as long as someone like a Kid Riot or like an Oliver Kane, to hear first time ever, that's crazy.
Yes,
that's
these are two veterans of the area.
100%.
Two guys that have cut their teeth in this area but never touched. Working the same companies, crossing the same paths, but never been in the ring together.
Yeah, and that is bonkers. Whenever Kid Riot told me, he was like, dude, this is a dream. I've always wanted to work Oliver. I was like, okay, then let's make it happen. You know what I mean?
Make it big.
Yeah. And, we came to him and we wanted to use him. Kid Riot is someone that, here we go back to this old thing that we always used to say all the time. Someone that I really want to get on the podcast.
Yes.
He simply is. Kid Riot is someone that I have a very long history with.
Myself as well.
You have a long history. I've actually talked with Kid Riot, and we have a few subjects that we would like to discuss on the podcast. The story that I want to tell is the first night that I met him, which was at a good old ICW show, brother. I feel like we could do a goddamn roundtable about ICW just with you and Kid Riot alone, because I know that you guys got some stories.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
Kid Riot beat me for the ICW Tag Team Championships once.
What? No way he did that.
Yes way, sir.
Yeah, man.
It's crazy, dude. Like looking back at like my career in Oliver Kane's and Kid Riot's, it's like I've worked both these guys.
Yeah.
I know how they both like to work in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be interesting for me to see who's going to come out on top.
With that being said, who do you got? I know that we probably are not in a position, because we're the ones booking these matches and making them happen, to pick who we think is going to win. But fuck it. We also have hours of content that we need to fill. So let's go.
Yes, sir. I'm going to go with Kid Riot. I think he's the wild card out of it.
Wow. Okay.
And Oliver's coming off that big loss from Zach Abstract. So you got to wonder where his head game is going to be at.
I know exactly where Oliver Kane's headspace is, because I know Oliver Kane. I can't tell you how many times I get a phone call and then 2 hours later we're off the phone, just talking about business, talking about life, talking about Oliver is someone that I definitely do consider a mentor in this business. And, I think that he's got a fire lit under him because he has lost to Abstract. Let's talk about this real quick. This is one thing that I've never really talked about, but I keep detailed notes about MadBash Wrestling that we have talked about because I have that touch. But one of those detailed notes that I like to keep is I have the winning percentage of everyone that has ever competed in MadBash Wrestling. Right now, Oliver Kane overall in MadBash Wrestling is sitting at 1-4. He's only got a 20% winning average with MadBash Wrestling.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think that he wants to bring that up to 2-4, man. Oliver is competitive. He wants to do his best to come back in. And I think that he's got that fire lit up underneath him since he lost to Zach. I think that, he wants to get that Baja title back, and I'm going with Oliver Kane on this one.
Good choice. Good choice. It's a 50-50 shot. Neither one of us are going to be right.
That's typically how that works. Yes. So we've got another first time ever matchup.
Yes.
Singles matchup. These two have interacted before in tag matches, in battle royals. They've touched, whatever. We have got the Bud Light Brawler, Dalton Davis versus Devontae Knox. Number one contender, Michael Madrox, for the MadBash Wrestling Championship.
Before we go anywhere, I'm just going to say who's going to win this one.
Okay.
The fans are going to win this one because this match is going to be fast and stiff.
I think that both of these guys bring something to the table. Last show at level 4, Dalton wrestled Devontae's trauma unit brethren, Chris O'Brien, and this is just something that's like seems next in line. You know what I mean? Maybe Dalton's trying to run through trauma unit. I don't know. But man, then you add that stipulation of number one contender for the MadBash Wrestling Championship. You've got a lot on the line here with this one, brother. You really do. You really, really do. And just so that we know here, Dalton Davis is sitting at an overall record of 6-1 with an 85.7% win percentage. Devontae is sitting at 1-1, 50%. So then you probably look at that and you think, wait a minute, he's only 1-1. Why are we one? What's the deal here? You know? Well, I look at this match as this. This is an alternate reality match. And what I mean by that is these two, their only losses in MadBash Wrestling history came during the Ascend the Throne tournament. Dalton Davis lost to Chris Cutler. Devontae lost to Clayton Clark. There's an alternate reality where those two were the finals of the Ascend the Throne tournament.
Absolutely. This is the MadBash verse right here.
It is. We explore the different versions of the MadBash verse. And by the way, may or may not have just been suggested that we book Javier Chavez versus Kenny Calix. Anyways,
I'll be back from Tijuana.
No, Javi is still on a trip to Tijuana. Yeah, man, this is one that I'm really looking forward to. You know, Dalton is one of the standard bearers of MadBash Wrestling. You know, our good friends at Jumping the Rail, which they've been blowing me up lately. There's something I think they want to tell me something. I'm not really sure what it is. You know, they did their show last week and they were talking about pillars of different eras of wrestling. And I jokingly get in there and I'm like, who are the pillars of MadBash Wrestling? And they said it was Clayton, Dalton, Colby, and Oliver. They view as their 4 pillars of MadBash Wrestling, and how right they are in that way.
Yes.
But I mean, and
I'm not trying to discredit anyone else, but if we're building a house, Dalton Davis is the A-frame of this fucking company.
Now, Dalton Davis was the first ever victory in the first ever MadBash Wrestling match. Can't go without mentioning Shank Barzini as well on that one, brother.
No, you cannot.
Yeah, and you know, I think Dalton has sat on the sidelines literally because he broke his ankle, for Christ's sake. He has sat on the sidelines and he has seen the success of Colby Jack. You know, he has seen two people that he knows very well, Colby Jack and Jason Levi. They're in that main event picture. And Dalton Davis is sitting back thinking, you know what? I think it's time I finally get in and try to get that MadBash Wrestling title. But first, he's got to get through Devontae Knox. And Devontae, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated and underutilized talents in the Midwest.
Yes. Devontae can go out there, not only still the crowd, but he can go out there and outperform anyone he steps in the ring with on any given night.
I think you're right on that one. I think Devontae is one of those, as we like to say, he's a generational talent. He and Clayton Clark, they pretty much broke in together, and they've both been on these different trajectories. Clayton finds himself with MadBash. Devontae finds himself elsewhere. But now Devontae's kind of trying to, he's starting to get back into the MadBash verse of things. And boy, that would be huge if he could, if he not only beats Dalton, but whoever wins this no DQ match, which we're going to be getting into here in a minute, they got their hands full with a challenge for old Devontae.
Oh yeah.
All right. This is the hard part. This is the part that I kind of don't want to do because I don't know if I can.
Really?
Who you got?
I got the fans, man.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I got the fans, man. This match could go either way so quick.
Do you want me to jump on the grenade first and give my pick, and then you can follow suit?
No, because I'll be the trendsetter.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Dalton.
This is tough. This is tough for me. Tough. Because you've got talent A and talent B. These two are just, and I don't want to, Dalton's one of my best friends. Dalton's my little brother. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm going against my little brother, but I think that it's I learned a long time ago that you do not bet against Dalton Davis. And I really don't think that I can do it. Dalton in 5. Devontae, I think, and that's no discredit to Devontae. None whatsoever. Dalton is just, you cannot bet against Dalton Davis. You just cannot do it. Cannot do it.
That win-loss record proves it right there, man.
One loss in MadBash Wrestling history and 6 wins. And had he not gotten injured, who knows what that record would be? You know what I mean?
It'd probably been double by now.
But before we worry about a number 1 contender, we got to figure out our champion. You got what might be one of the scariest matches I've ever booked, because I'm worried. I've never ever booked a match and been this worried
about both men.
We've got no disqualification for the MadBash Wrestling Championship. Colby Jack defending against Jason Levi, but one important thing broke earlier this week, Michael Madrox. We are not getting Colby Jack. We are getting the Mad Cow.
Which is crazy.
The Mad Cow, the last time the Mad Cow reared his horns, he almost drove a spike through a man's hand. He almost crushed a man's skull between 2 steel chairs. We remember the promo. Shank Barzini begging for the Mad Cow, begging for it. Colby said, I can't do it. Can't do it. Colby Jack said, no, I'm not doing it. And then Shank Barzini just straight up refused to show up and said, fine, if you're not going to do it, I'm not going to do it. And Colby has been very adamant about, I will not be the Mad Cow. It took me to a place I never want to be in again. But here we go. There's just so much hatred going in to this match. He had no other choice but to go back to the Mad Cow.
Before the news broke, I would have been crazy if I didn't vote for Jason Levi to win this match because it's a no disqualification match. You look at Levi's history. This is his playground.
Well, look at what he did to Colby, let alone, just after the match. Now imagine when he's got a full match to do it. Look at what he did to him back in April. And here's another thing about Jason Levi. If you want to see what Jason Levi is capable of, go back. We talked about Dalton Davis. These two have a history. They toured the state of Indiana with street fights, and it's some of the most brutal matches I've ever seen.
Absolutely, man. And like I was saying, Jason Levi would have been the go-to. But once I saw that video, that shift in Colby Jack, I got to go with Colby Jack on this one, man. The Mad Cow, if he's basically willing to murder somebody in the ring, what's going to happen?
Here's my question to you, because I think the Mad Cow that we're going to be getting in this match is a little bit different than the one that we got back in October. Considering what has brought out the Mad Cow both times, it was a vicious attack both times. Chris Cutler destroying Colby Jack, Jason Levi destroying Colby Jack. Which beating do you think was the worst?
Jason Levi's.
I think Jason Levi's was a little bit more personal because, Colby
Not
Jack,
only did he get beat down, he got his title stolen.
That was my point, is that it was more personal than that. And I think that when you awaken that inside Colby, you need to be worried. Jason Levi is saying on Facebook, I've seen the posts saying, I'm not scared. All he did was change his mask. Michael Madrox, I have been in the room when Colby Jack is the Mad Cow. That is more than just changing a mask. That is a mindset. That is a scary, scary side of a man.
Whole aura.
It's just the aura of the Mad Cow. It immediately fills you with a sense of dread when you see the Mad Cow. I really don't think that Jason Levi knows what he's getting in the ring with, but I think that Jason Levi thrives in that type of environment.
He does.
I think that Jason Levi thrives when he doesn't really know what he's getting himself into. He calls himself the walking liability, or at least he used to. And I think that if you factor in any number of liabilities, Jason Levi has always come out on top. So I think you factor that in, and then I think you also factor in that Colby Jack is good and pissed off. And what is the old adage they say about a bull? When it's angry, it doesn't think straight, it just sees red. So I could see a reality where Jason Levi walks away from the Blue album as the MadBash Wrestling champion. And I never thought in a million years that I would bet against the Mad Cow. But I just know that this particular version of the Mad Cow is different from what we've gotten before.
And I agree with you. It's different, but you saw what he did to Chris Cutler. Now imagine that 10 times worse and personal.
But you also got to think about the mindset. If Colby Jack as the Mad Cow, if the Mad Cow can maintain his composure, I think that he stands a pretty good chance against Jason Levi. But I really think that the Mad Cow is going to be so, for lack of a better term, mad, that he's going to be so crazy that I think Levi's going to be able to use that to his advantage.
You think Levi's going to be able to outsmart him, is what you're saying?
I think so. We're sitting here, Colby Jack. So Colby Jack and Dalton Davis are each tied with the best winning percentage. They both are sitting at 6-1 with 85.7%. Jason Levi is sitting at 0-2. So back to what I was saying about Oliver, Jason Levi has got something to prove here. Jason Levi has been one of the, let me disclaim. But Dickie, it seems like that you're glorifying Jason Levi's dickhead behavior. I'm not glorifying Jason Levi's dickhead behavior lately. I am against the way that Jason Levi has been acting. But I also know that Jason Levi is smart. And to be honest with you, brother, he worked me into where he wanted. He got a rematch. And if he can listen, you got to get up. You got to get up early to outsmart Dickie and Madrox. You know what I mean? And I don't know, brother. I think that we're going to see an upset. And I don't want to call it an upset. The only reason it would be an upset is because Colby Jack is, but even then, I mean, Colby is so Oh, fuck. I don't know. That's so tough, man. I think the fans are going to win. No,
this one's a coin flip.
This one's a coin flip because there's a lot of factors going into it. But I'm going to go ahead and say cow, plow, wow, Jason Levi in 5. I'm going to start doing that, brother. You think I wasn't going to You think I wasn't going to bring a current meme into the you know what I'm talking about? Oh, Michael Madrox, listen, if I've been distracted during this first half of the podcast, I kind of want to apologize to you, but Jumping the Rail has been blowing me up. They got something to tell me. They want to hop in the recording if that's okay with you.
I'm fine with it, man. I love those guys.
Yeah, so we're going to get Reb and Minderz in here, I guess. But first, let's hear a word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Elite Pro Wrestling. We all love live entertainment, right? We all love live wrestling, right? Well, what if I told you that there is a place that combines the entertainment and the wrestling live that we all love? Look no further than Elite Pro Wrestling. Whether it's in person in Odin, Indiana, or Washington, Indiana, or if you check them out on YouTube, Elite Pro Wrestling guarantees a quality show that allows them to live up to the name Elite. If you're feeling generous, go ahead and check them out on Patreon as well. If you back them, you're going to get early access to all of their shows before they hit YouTube. Again, check out EliteProfessionalWrestling.com. This episode is brought to you by Venom Energy. Hey, we've all been there, and there's nothing wrong with admitting to it. Well, what I mean is that we've all hit that midday slump, and we all need a little push to get us through the rest of the day. Well, what better option to give you a pick-me-up than one of the wonderful flavors of Venom Energy? Venom is what gets MadBash through those long show days, and we know that it can do the same for you. I'm going to sweeten the pot a little bit for you, too. Yeah, come to our merch table when you see us at a show, and with the purchase of a MadBash Wrestling sticker or magnet, you get a Venom Energy drink on us. While supplies last, of course, so you better act quick. We'd like to thank Venom again for sponsoring this episode. Please consume responsibly. Not recommended for children under 18, pregnant or nursing women, or people sensitive to caffeine. Well, this is different. Madrox, I mentioned it the first half of the show as we were going over our preview of the Blue album.
We got some guests, brother.
I was getting blown up by these two, and here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, they have finally made their way onto the Spot Show podcast. Let's hear it for Reb and Minderz from Jumping the Rail. Round of applause, round of applause, round of applause.
Yeah, we're here.
Yep, thanks for having us.
This is actually technically your second time that you have been on.
Officially, it's our first time.
As guests, it's your first time.
Right.
So, all right, you two. I don't know what you've been blowing me up about, but apparently you have some news that you want to break here. So let's go ahead and get it out.
Hey, Reb, do you want me to start with the setup? And you can do the good news.
Oh, there's a whole you guys placed have a whole bit about this? Oh no.
Well, sure, why not? We shoot from the hip. Come on.
What are you getting ready to drop on me?
Minderz, go ahead.
Dickie, you've been on our podcast and you've been on the Extreme Effing Review.
Mm-hmm.
And both times you've missed out on a certain wrestler that we know is your favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we've got the next Extreme Effing Review coming up. We said we would let you go on that one because he actually has a match on that one.
So I finally get to call a Sandman match on Extreme Effing Review. So you crashed my podcast to break this to me. Hell yeah.
That's part of it.
It's part of it.
How was your Tuesday the 17th looking?
Let me check my calendar. I'm back from vacation that week.
Well, if you want to join us, our friend Minderz here actually got us booked with the Sandman on Jumping the Rail.
What?
Yeah.
She's been putting the work in.
What?
Yeah,
So,
I know. I say he does all the work, but I do all the networking. So
Look at this. Look at this. Let's go. Let's absolutely go. I actually, in case that something big like this happened, I actually prepared a few words.
Oh wow.
oh jeez.
Dear Reb and Minderz,
That's your guy.
when you first told me about this a couple of weeks ago, and I had to pretend to be surprised on the Spot Show podcast, I knew that this was going to be the best moment of my professional career as a podcaster. I have a few thank yous before I get too far into this. First of all, I would like to thank the Sandman for being possibly the greatest professional wrestler that ever set foot in a professional wrestling ring. I would also like to thank Hack for being the greatest WCW hardcore wrestler of all time. I would also like to thank Michael Madrox for something, I'm sure. With that being said, everyone get excited because June 17th, what started off as a bit is becoming reality. Jumping the Rail and MadBash Wrestling are coming together to give you the interview of a lifetime.
Yep. We thought you'd be excited. And Madrox.
Yes.
Who's your favorite?
Raven.
I'll do what I can. I'll do what I can. I will try.
I need you guys to ask Sandman one question for me, though.
Oh, we got you, brother.
Why did he look like Raven's therapist back in WCW?
They look eerily similar.
What was it like being Chris Canyon's neighbor? Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, guys, that is awesome that that is going to happen. I guess this is kind of our coming out party that like Jumping the Rail and MadBash Studios are like going to start intermingling a lot more often. You know what I mean? And I love it.
Aren't we going to be Bash the Rail?
Bash the Rail. Let's do it. Let's do it. Cheers.
I think the big question is who's going to ask Sandman about Kurt Angle?
Oh, I don't know. That's the tough one. Because we all know how Sandman feels about Kurt Angle. That's what I think of that one.
Yeah.
Kurt. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. Yeah, man. By the way, for those of you that are on House Show, you're going to get to see the video of this. Minderz is completely one-upping every single one of us right now with where she is currently at. What is going on? Where are you on location?
I took off and I went down to Cape Coral. So
took off. You're still podcasting.
I took off. Decided to escape Illinois for a little while. So chilling down here in Florida in Cape Coral at our B&B house, and we have our own pool. We're against the canal. It's great. I love it.
That is incredible. And then you got Reb and I here with our actual backdrops, and Michael Madrox looking like that he's in like a lined hamster cage 9 times out of 10. But
I'm in a casket.
Yeah, probably more often than not. But
it's got a very Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys vibe to it.
Yeah, it does.
That's just Madrox's vibe in general. You talk about how like Reb does all the work and Minderz does all the networking. We are such a complete like dichotomy By the way, if anyone hears the sirens, they are on our end. I'm the one that does like most of the heavy lifting, and then Michael Madrox comes in and he's like, "Hey, I hit this person up. They're good for this date." And it's just so Reb. We've had this conversation a couple of times whenever we've been on, but I feel like you and I really are the workhorses, brother. I feel like we just trying to make the dream work.
That's right. And you're actually going to be helping me out tomorrow too, because
yes,
because I am taking a break.
Yeah, that was what I was.
Why did she get breaks?
Okay, mister, I'm going to be in the hospital for a couple of weeks. How does she get breaks?
Hey, Dickie, who also messages you and is like, "Hey, we still recording today, even though I'm in the hospital?"
That is fair. Yeah, Reb just mentioned it. I was going to mention it at the top whenever we were doing the plug skis, but I was going to wait to get you guys on here. Yeah, I'm as of whenever this goes live, it's already happened, but it'll be on your podcast feed. You're going to be on the old independent wrestling shootout.
Yep.
With Reb. We have a guest lined up too as well.
A friend of yours, Jeremy Hamilton's going to be joining us.
Love Germ. My man Germ.
I figured we'd bring in a ringer.
He brings pandemonium everywhere.
He does bring pandemonium. He does.
Slight correction though, Dickie. This is actually not going to be on our podcast forums. It's actually just YouTube exclusive.
Oh, okay.
So it's on the JTR Podcast Network YouTube channel.
All right. Well, that's where you can find that. I'm sure that we'll have a link to all that lined up as we get this new partnership lined up with everything that we're going to be doing. So here's another little bit of information that I think is really cool is the Sandman interview is going to be on both of our podcast feeds. So you can pretty much pick which one you want to listen to. Maybe listen to both of them so we can both get the analytics.
Yeah.
And then, video of it's going to be on Jumping the Rail. All of that. You will have the ad-free version on our Patreon. You will have all of that. Pretty much, like we said, it's going to be on both feeds as part of this new partnership that we got lined up. And that's something that I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, we got some other good ones we're working on that we may bring you back in for.
I am Dickie Third Mike.
This is true.
At this point, yeah. Actually, I just got a message. I'm actually working on another one. So
I can't wait behind
this vacation.
Yeah, we might say that.
Vacation.
We might save who that is for paid show.
Yeah,
but yeah, man, I will say this has been a long time coming to get all four of us together with mics in front of us, being able to podcast and do this. So for anyone who may not be too familiar, obviously I'm sure our fan bases cross over for the most part, but in case there's people that have only heard of you from the time that they turned on our podcast on April Fools and they were like, who are these people talking? Who are these people talking about WrestleMania?
We had to smarten up one of our regulars.
We did.
Oh, really?
So when you did our show.
Oh, that's funny.
We kept getting messages of are you guys coming back? Wait, what's going on?
We took over. I bought my competition.
The contract does say Wabash, but it says Dickie Wabash.
Yes. This is what I've been waiting for, because here's the thing, Spot Show is a little bit more loose and we just kind of talk about whatever, where you guys are actually real professionals, where you actually have some structure to what you guys are going to be discussing. Whereas literally I just was talking to Madrox and I'm like, hey, Jumping the Rail wants to come on. He's like, okay, so what are we going to be talking about? And I was like, fuck if I know. We'll figure it out. And I was like, let's preview the Blue album. And then in the middle of previewing it here, I was like, I got to preview the Blue album on Wednesday as well. So I'll just carry over some of the same thoughts that I had,
There you go.
Little cross-pollination there. But so my point with this is that some of the people that are listening to this might not be too familiar. They've heard us allude to you guys in the past. There's been a little bit of crossover. Give us the elevator pitch on what exactly Jumping the Rail is.
Well, first off, I appreciate you with putting us over every chance you get on here.
Always. I will always. Any chance I get.
Basically, we've been doing this for about 4 years now. I started this with my buddy, Mike Nargelinas. We may know him as the Pain Train from New Breed. And we did that for a couple of years. Just we wanted to have something where we could just talk about wrestling without having to include our wives because they were tired of it. And then it just ballooned from there. Eventually, he went on. He wanted to do stuff with his family. His kids are always doing activities, and all. He didn't have Tuesdays free. So Minderz said, "Come on a few times with us." So we brought her on, and she's been with me longer than Narj was. So and she's very helpful. She kind of busts my chops here and there. But we do it at live every Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Central Time on Facebook Live and YouTube, and then it drops as a podcast on Thursday mornings at 6:05 a.m. Central Time on all your podcast platforms. So
now, is there a specific reason that it's 6:05, and is it the reason that I think?
Because I friggin' love studio wrestling from
There you go. I knew it. So I dropped Redline on Patreon at 6:15, and I was like, oh, it should have been 6:05. Like, I forgot. I thought it was 6:15 instead of 6:05 for some reason, and I was like, damn it. So I'm gonna have to remember to keep doing that. And then on YouTube, because it's going to be premiering this Friday, you can't do 05. You can only do
it's got to be
increments of 15. Yeah. So that one really bummed me out. That actually, I think I did. It doesn't matter, but yeah, you guys, like, I'm trying to think. When was the first time that we actually had a legitimate conversation?
It was me. I think it was me.
It was Minderz, probably at a hybrid.
It had to be Minderz, yeah.
It was you and I, yeah. At a show.
Because here's why.
I'm the networker of the group.
It was. Yeah, you are. It was right after Dalton broke his ankle because.
Oh yeah, because I asked you.
You asked me how. And I didn't really know you. I thought that I was like, who's this Mark talking to me? And then I was like, oh shit, I've heard of these guys. These guys do the, and then I was like, I was kayfabing it a little bit too. Then you were like, you put your hand out and said, I already talked to Dalton. And I went, okay.
I already talked to him.
I was like, okay, then he's doing fine. He's doing good. He's doing blah, blah, blah. But, and then the first time that I actually got to meet you, Reb, was at Hybrid. It was right before I came on Jumping the Rail the first time.
Yeah, because you just came on as a guest the first time.
Yeah.
Before you were officially Dickie Third Mic.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was actually during the time, Madrox, whenever you were taking your sabbatical from MadBash. And then, like, literally, so tell them what you almost did during that live podcast, Madrox.
Your live podcast?
No, yeah, whenever I was the guest on Jumping the Rail, how you almost broke the news to me.
I was going to tell him right on the air on your guys' live podcast that I was back.
He was just going to drop a comment, and then it was just like, what? Because I remember I hung up the phone, I ended the recording, and I called him immediately after. I don't remember what we were talking about. And he was like, hey, guess what? I'm coming back. And I'm like, well, then why did we even do it? You took us, it was like a month and a half, brother. What do we even got going on here? But yeah, this is like I said, this has been a long time coming. Like, we always have the whole, we actually were just talking before you guys got on here about how I've gotten back into the rhythm of he's someone I want to have on the podcast. And I haven't done that in a while. And my list has become so long that it's like, how do I factor everyone in that I want to have? And I'm sure that's a problem that you guys face as well. But the thing that really hurts us getting able to collaborate is that we tend to record while you guys are live.
Right.
So this was a rare occasion where I was like, we're going to have to kind of move some things around here so that we can get you guys on here.
Yeah. We don't start recording ours today and for about another hour and a half. So we got that nice little wiggle room there.
Yeah. And that's what happened last week as well, as I was able to actually jump in the live chat. And that was whenever I was actually given the Iggy of like, hey, so don't say anything, but we may have something lined up.
We made this work.
Yeah. And because I jumped in right with you guys right after. And like, what was funny about it is I'm in the middle of doing the podcast, and like, I think I was messaging you, Minderz, and I was like, just tell me what it is. And then like, I'm talking to Madrox, I'm like, they're kayfabing something from me, and I don't know what it is. And then we'll tell more of the story of like how that conversation was had on Paid Ski. But yeah, you guys finally you gotta do a page.
You guys ready to bury somebody?
Listen, I have had some conversations with these two after we have gone live, but I think the big elephant in the room here that I want to talk about, and I'm putting all three of you on the spot. When does Michael Madrox be on Jumping the Rail?
Whenever you guys want me.
Whenever he's ready.
I think you're ready, kid. I think you're ready, kid.
If you want to jump on the Sandman episode, also, we got.
Yeah, you're more than welcome.
We got more. Yeah. We got plenty of room.
That way you can ask the question you want to ask.
That's the only question I have for him.
The only thing is, I don't have my podcast room stuff in the background, which is kind of throwing me off. But
did you leave your spoon at home?
I did. I left the spoon at home.
Imagine if you traveled with it, like you had the mobile which you have the mobile podcast set up with you clearly because you're still wearing your headset and whatnot. But like, imagine if you had like the mobile podcast set, like you just get like a green screen or something and roll it down. Yeah, that's what my background was supposed to be at first was a green screen, and then green screens are a bitch with lighting. So I was like, no,
I know.
Reb tried it. It was hilarious.
I got the big round one that you're supposed to be able to attach to your chair.
I have that one. Yeah,
I couldn't get it to work properly.
Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible.
So a lot of people don't know Minderz. Why don't you just tell everybody some of the things you have in your podcast room?
Yes,
in your background.
Oh, I have a broken door that Lander went through. I have a broken door that Jordan Perry went through. I have a broken ladder that Jimmy Carrot went through. I have
B.A. Malkin's pants.
Shut up. I was going to leave B.A. Malkin's pants out of the company.
Hey, I have Michael Madrox's ring-worn jersey. It's okay.
No, there you go. And then I've got a...
Autographed.
I've got an autographed body bag from Carrot and B.A.'s match.
A lot of carrot in this description.
There's a lot of carrot in my podcast room. And then I have my Gene Snitsky baby that says Snitsky was here.
Yeah, which is so funny.
Is punted. I have a fish signed by Curryman and Shark Boy.
Prince Justice Brotherhood. Let's go.
Reb, what else do I have?
You got a Josh Crane.
I have a Josh
plushie.
Crane plushie. I have a Mick Cardona plushie. I have a Nigel McGuinness iron signed.
I've got the Britt Baker breakthrough playing card that we spent an entire podcast trying to find.
I've got my signed Fonzie whistle.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, these guys, like, here's another, like, this is what drew me to you guys so much is that Madrox and I, we get on here and we talk about ECW ad nauseum. We're huge ECW marks and we're huge early TNA marks. And then the second that you had me on Extreme Effin' Review, that was when I think you guys realized, like, oh, Dickie actually is a huge ECW mark. And then that's really what bonded our working relationship here is the love of ECW. And Minderz, correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but you actually didn't really know about ECW until a little bit later, right? Whereas Reb and I grew up watching it.
Right.
I grew up reading about it in the magazine. I think we all did. I think Madrox, you said that you would watch it at like 3 a.m, right?
Yep.
Oh, man.
On the local Channel 3. I used to switch my Sega off and be on the same channel to watch.
I always joke that I had to explain to my mom why I had a PWI centerfold of Tommy Dreamer with Beulah and Kimona hanging up in my room.
Because he's hardcore.
I'm hardcore. I'll take them both. Oh, that is hilarious. So yeah, that ECW is like, I think that it's only just recently like kind of come back into the whole mythos of like everyone really giving it its just desserts and like giving it like what it deserves. And, you know, I think the thing with ECW is that it kind of goes through ebbs and flows of where like people are really obsessed over it. And then people really just kind of like, eh. And I think that doing that extreme effing review, that is such a smart idea, man, because I think that you guys are catching it right when there's like this big nostalgia for ECW. And I think riding that trend is smart. But you guys also strike me as the type that, and maybe I'm way off base because I know I don't care. Like, I'm not a trend rider. I don't care. I'm going to get on here and talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about, you know? And I think that
even if it's tough enough,
if it is tough enough, which is the biggest failure of a podcast that we ever, that enough of this podcast was such a good idea. I'm gonna tell you, this is the synergy between co-hosts, man, right now, because Madrox brings me into this next point. Has there been an idea that you guys had and you were like, this is gonna work, this is gonna be so good, and then you realize, 2 listens, 1 listen, 0 listens.
We tried a couple times to do a fantasy supercard episode, and we got nothing. Basically, we take, like, for example, we had one who was like ECW versus AEW, and just like make a card out of like just taking like Sabu versus Darby and matches like that, and then just going through them as like who would win, what would happen. And we tried that with a couple of different ones. I think we did one with WCW and TNA, I want to say.
I think it was TNA, yeah.
And but yeah, they didn't were not really well received. They were fun, but they weren't really well received.
Yeah, they were fun for us, but not for everybody else.
Yeah, man,
I think when I started doing Mindy's Collision or Minderz's Collision review, that didn't go as well as I thought it would.
That was just on YouTube. That wasn't on the pod.
That was on YouTube, but it didn't go over very well.
So we did this thing called Pilot Season, where all of the stuff is still available on Patreon, where we were like trying all these different shows out to see like what could be the next MadBash Studios show. And I had a video game podcast. We were going to do this podcast called Tales from the Backyard, where we talked about backyard wrestling. Madrox, what were some of the other things that we had a couple? Element OP, which that is still available. I'm going to give a plug, Ski. Go to the Patreon and watch Element OP. It is one of my favorite things that we ever did. It was so funny.
And we need to bring that back.
We may. We got
a 4-person commentary team going on right here, man.
Oh, I love it. That would be so much fun. So, and just none of them took off. And we were like, fuck. And then we started doing enough of this, which on paper sounds like something that people would care about. Like, we're going to rewatch Tough Enough and other wrestling reality shows and do a podcast about it, because rewatch podcasts are big, as I'm sure you guys are aware with doing, what you're doing. Nothing. It was a wet fart. We had 1 listener, and it was Colby Jack. And it was like, Colby would always message, so I listened to the new podcast and I really liked it. And I was just like, brother, the amount of work that we're putting into this, we just gotta, I think we got 4 episodes in.
Please tell me that at some point you were going to get to Hulk Hogan's Celebrity Wrestling.
Oh, yes. It was on the docket. Yeah. Okay. We had, so I think originally what we were going to do, and this, I don't think we've ever publicly talked about this, what our plans were.
Tough Enough Season 1.
It was Tough Enough Season 1. Then I think
Hogan Knows Best.
Hogan Knows Best Season 1. Then we were going to do a Patreon exclusive one where we were going to watch The Hardy Show. Which I don't know if you guys know about The Hardy Show.
I do.
Oh my God. Yeah. It was Matt and Jeff Hardy, allegedly, very under the influence, doing just dumb shit. And we were going to do it just for Patreon. And we never got to. We got 4 episodes in to Tough Enough, and they were fun to do, but it was just like, God damn, it was such a bummer. There's nothing worse than when you think that you have just this incredible idea, and then,
Well, we're international right now with our Extreme F and Review. We actually have international listeners that
we do as well. Yeah, we do as well. I don't really keep docket of the countries like you guys do, which is one of my favorite bits that you guys do. It's like, hey, we got a new country.
Yeah.
But,
I know we got France.
We do have France for sure, because Madrox, by one of the most like notorious figures in France. Madrox, I'll let you explain Nico.
The Vampire of Paris, Nico Clow, serial killer, grave robber, cannibal.
Lovely.
He's one of my good friends.
That's one of our claims to fame. Can you guys confirm that someone that allegedly ate human flesh has listened to your podcast?
No.
Boy, that's how you get into the algorithm, Dickie. Talk about.
We cannot confirm or deny any cannibals on our.
You cannot. Yeah, I think you refuse to confirm or deny. But yeah, man, we're going to start to wrap up Spot Show here. And then if you guys want, you're more than welcome to stick around for Paid Show, which it sounds like you guys are going to. That's going to be a fun one. But yeah, man, I mean, you said thank you for putting you over. I mean, the thing that I've talked about plenty of times is that when Madrox and I both left wrestling in like 2017, I think it was, we both left very jaded. About the wrestling business. And then when we came back in 22, we were very hesitant. And then meeting people like you guys that cut from the exact same cloth as us, of where we've got our feet in like both sides of it, and like Reb, I know that you're starting to do commentary now. So it, able to finally say that you're in the business, brother. You got a green kid, but yeah, that's what, like, I was always really happy with is that when I met you guys, I was like, awesome, like-minded people. And I think that we are proof that, like, there needs to be more collaboration in independent wrestling. There really does. And granted, I know that I'm probably not the paragon of who should be talking about collaboration, especially if you've listened to Paid Show, which I may or may not have a huge announcement concerning something that MadBash is going to be doing on Paid Show.
Oh, boy.
And it's going to be awesome to have you two here for this, because no one knows about this. So there's a little tease. Well, of course you do. You're the one that kind of made it happen. That's a little bit of a tease for Paid Show, something I never thought in a million years I would be talking about. But yeah, you guys have been nothing but awesome to work with. Two of my favorite human beings that I have met in wrestling, and not even just wrestling, in content creation in general. Yeah. And I can't tell you how many times, like, I'll have an idea and I'll be like, what would Minderz think of this idea? Or what would Reb think of this idea? And like, it's just awesome. I know you guys go out of your way, Reb, I've seen you rock it. Minderz, you're rocking it right now. You always go out of your way to rock the merch. We always appreciate that, because that's, you guys know the struggles of being independent to its very core. And when you have a good team around you, it always helps.
Yeah.
Well, I know there's a lot of times when I'm listening, because I don't get to listen to you guys live, but I'm go back and listen to the Spot Show. More than once I've sent you messages like with comments on things that you guys talked about.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, it's like this. If I want to be like,
can they do live so we can jump in their chat? Come on.
Maybe one day. We've toyed around with maybe going live, but we're not really sure yet.
Yeah,
but
there we go, Dickie. I want to be your live show called Web Show.
Yeah. Web Show.
There you go.
I've already got too many shows, brother.
He says that to us, Reb. Especially to you.
Yeah, you got
Jumping the Rail, Independent Wrestling Shootout, Extreme F and Review, Gold Rush.
Yeah.
And that's if we're not doing a watch along that week, which we do the watch alongs for Patreon with Bari and AJ. So
then sometimes on the Patreon we'll throw up a JT archive, like one of our old interviews, and we'll put it on our Patreon.
Yeah, I'm a proud supporter of the Jumping the Rail Patreon. I think that everyone needs to go over there and just toss $5, because I can speak from experience on what that Patreon money means. Because again, independent, the literal definition of independent. We're not big companies. We're just, for us, we have a good support system around us, but it's really just us two, and kind of the same for you guys. We mirror each other in so many ways. I mean, just the fact, looking at this video right now, the way that the facial hair lines up on both Reb and Madrox, and like, it's just simple shit like that.
Do you have red hair underneath the cap, Dickie? So you can
got no hair under that cap.
Yeah, I finally decided to embrace the receding hairline and went bald. But all right,
guys, for the
guys,
skull to come back with a man bun.
I don't know about all that. I did think about rocking the Heyman, like the old Heyman when he had the ponytail through the hat. Only way to do it, start wearing a trench coat. You know what I mean? Always carry around a phone with me.
Yeah,
Dickie dangerously.
You got to get one of these though.
You always are telling me that, that's one thing I want to address when we get on Paid Show, the technical issues that I have every single fucking time that I get on a podcast with you guys. But notice it's working now.
Yeah. Of course it is.
Of course it is, because it's my show.
Don't forget, Minderz had problems last week on the shootout.
It was so bad.
Don't jinx me. I got to fill in for you tomorrow night. But all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and hop off here. Reb Minderz, where can everyone find you on the interwebs?
Facebook, you can find Jumping the Rail, Independent Shootout. Oh, sorry, Independent Wrestling Shootout. I'll give the full name. We just launched the Extreme F Review Facebook page today. And then our network page, JTR Podcast Network, and then Instagram, JTR Podcast Network, patreon.com/JTR Podcast Network. It's a lot of the same handles on there, just easier to remember everything.
I didn't know we had released the Extreme F and Review.
I knew, and I've already liked it.
I added you as an admin. You just have to accept it.
Oh, of course. Okay.
Yeah. She's on vacation, brother.
I know. But yeah, then JTR drops every Thursday on podcast. Extreme F Review drops every Friday morning at 9 a.m. on Audible, Amazon, and Spotify. And then Gold Rush is whenever we get to record it, it drops on Friday evenings on YouTube. It's best me and Jabari Sinclair talking about championship belts and history of. And
that's so dope. That's so dope. You got to get me, man. I hear all of these shows and I'm like, I want to be on all of them. I want to be on all of them. I could contribute so much. Especially Madrox and I are huge belt marks. We are huge belt marks. So that's really
that's
dope.
the one I take a step back from because belts aren't my thing. So
because that's almost where wrestling mark starts to leave and wrestling nerd starts to come in, because there's a fine line between being a mark and being a nerd.
Yes.
And I think we all four are
I told you the nerdiest thing I've ever done is I bought a eBay Rivera Steakhouse jacket that doesn't fit me.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, you can, of course, find us on Instagram at MadBash_wrestling, MadBashStudios.com for all the links. You can find me on Instagram at DWob's Card Shop. You can find Michael Madrox at the word 1 and then the numbers 900-909-9900 on Instagram, which I stand by is the best Instagram handle in the history of Instagram. I love it so much.
Even if the phone number is no longer active.
Oh, it's active in my heart. It's active in my heart.
Very active. I want to buy it.
Buy the rights to it.
MadBash Hotline.
I love it. That would be so great. But all right, for those of you on the Patreon, we're going to be rolling into Paid Show with our good friends Reb and Minderz from Jumping the Rail. And if you are not on the Patreon, we will see you down the road on some form of content.